all the things. Oh my goodness, everybody, I am so excited to introduce you to my friend Hillary, who is part of this series that I kind of put out this might be fun to share what thriving looks like from the perspective of my really fabulous clients because they can talk about it better than I can
Fun.
in words that aren't mine, which sometimes are a lot. So, Hillary, introduce yourself. Tell people where you are in the world and what you do and what you love to do. How about that for an intro?
All right. Well, so my name's Hillary, and I live in the suburbs of Philadelphia. I've been pretty much in this area my whole life, born and raised in New Jersey, so Jersey girl at heart, always and forever. Um, and I live with my family, husband, two boys in the suburbs of Philly. My kids are older, college and middle school. So it's interesting being a parent of older kids. Many times I don't feel old enough to have kids that age, but I am. And I kind of do a little bit of a lot of things. I am an adjunct professor at a local university in a social media class. I work part time for a local nonprofit as their program and finance manager. And I also run my own business that is getting non-toxic essential oils and healthy lifestyle products in the hands of families who are looking to make a positive change.
I love it. And I love that you mentioned the social media because some of you that know Hillary already might remember that I met Hillary back in the old days when we were blogging,
Old
back
school
in the
blogger.
old school bloggers. That's how we first met years and years and years ago, right?
Yeah. And
And
I still put a little post up there every once in a
yeah,
while.
you do. You do. And Hillary has seen me grow from a baby coach to a not baby coach. How about that and we're matching. I love all things Hillary. Okay. So let's dive in. And I can't see comments on Facebook, but I will look in a second while you're talking. If anybody's asking questions, please feel free to ask questions because Hillary will answer them or we can
I
answer them
will.
later.
I will go back later if I don't
Yeah.
see them now.
Yeah.
So I promise.
So, Hillary, so you and I reconnected last year, or no, this year, 2020. Still staying connected, right? But in terms of this journey to thrive, share with us for a moment what thriving means to you.
So to me, it really kind of means thriving means you're succeeding is too simple. If you're thriving, you are operating on all four cylinders. Like if you are thriving, you are moving, you are growing, you are evolving, you are the best you that you can be in all the different areas. We're such a multi-dimensional people now, especially women, I think, are doing so many things. You're not just a mom or not a mom or a dog mom or you're all of those things. Maybe you're a wife, you work inside the house, you work outside the house. Some of us are homeschooling, some of us are overseeing virtual learning. I mean, there's just so many things. So when I think of thriving, I think about you're really operating at peak performance.
Mm. Okay. I
In
love
as
that.
many areas as possible,
Okay.
which, is a lot.
Is a lot. Yes, we'll come back to that. I have a question, but so let me ask, right? What kept you in the past from thriving, from operating at that peak performance, as you said?
Oh, always. I think the things that probably stop a lot of people, right? I don't have time. That's the easiest one. The other one is I am doing all the things I'm supposed to be doing, you know, not really realizing that you're probably not doing them as optimally as you could. What else? Fear.
Of?
Afraid of failing, afraid of succeeding, afraid of what you might find out. Um, for me, I'm a not so closet perfectionist. Anybody who knows me knows. So it's hard. You wait and wait and wait and wait until it's perfect, and you could wait forever.
Yeah. So let's define, or perhaps redefine, if you'll let me, peak performance. What does that mean to you?
Um, so peak performance just kind of means doing your best, not the best, because as some very well-known people have said, other people's opinions of you are none of your business, right? And that's a hard one to really wrestle with as well, because I am also constantly aware of what I think other people think about me, and that's been a real stumbling block for me in a lot of areas. So peak performance is really doing your best in your eyes.
Okay. Thank
You know,
you.
so if my child had a chocolate chip cookie for breakfast this morning, which he may or may not have had, that could still be peak performance because, well, he ate something.
All right. Okay. I love that. Thank you. And right, you knew I was gonna when you said that, I was like, peak performance. Tell me about that.
Yeah.
Because, right, there's always, we talk a lot about thriving is not about a metric of a finish line or a destination. And so you putting it into your words now, I want to come back to peak performance because you had a realization recently, if I could nudge you on this a little bit, in terms of something that you wanted to move in the direction of, and then the realization that maybe it wasn't about what you thought it was. Would you care to share now that I've planted that seed?
And to my best of my recollection, you know how bad I am, and I don't have any of my notes or journals or anything in front of me, so I'm
Let's
performing
say it was
without a net.
that is okay. I'm here to catch you. And actually you don't need catching to remind you that you've got you.
But I think that it had to do with wanting to improve some of my health and wellness things, particularly in the realm of eating, better eating, and moving, because I am an anti-exerciser, self-professed anti-exerciser. And I thought, well, I want to be. I want to do more. I want to take yoga classes. I want to walk. I want to do, in my dream world, maybe I'm a runner. I'm not. I'm not any of those things. And I don't enjoy it, if I'm perfectly honest. I'm one of those people in your exercise class with you going, whew, I've only been here 3 minutes. Feels like forever. When are we over? Oh, only 10 more minutes. I can do it for 10 more minutes. So I got to thinking, is that okay? Is it okay to not really want that? If I don't really want it, if I don't enjoy it, if, just because I should.
I loved that conversation that we had because you had been focused on, just as you said, right? There was this desire to move more, to treat your body differently. And I think I asked you a question about kind of what that felt like. And you started with things like stronger and energized and then athletic. And your whole body went, but I'm not an athlete. And I've never wanted to be an athlete. And it felt like, and tell me where I'm wrong, it felt like freedom for you to realize, hey, like this isn't actually the thing that I thought I wanted. Maybe there's another way.
Right. And it's okay. Just because other people think that I should be, or that it's something everyone should do, doesn't mean that I do. And that doesn't make it right or wrong.
Right. Yeah. And you also, I think, realized that part of what was important to you about some of those things the movement, the feeling good in your body, but also that you could access those feelings in other ways. Like you love taking a walk with somebody,
Right.
right? And so that sense of connection and community, oh, the core values, reminding yourself of how they played into this desire to feel something in your body. And so that was just, to me, that was this beautiful realization for you of maybe the thing that I thought I wanted isn't really what I thought it was about.
Right.
Yeah.
Totally. And it's so funny because I, this whole journey from starting with the Thrive Circle and everything back towards the beginning of the year up to this point, and as I mentioned earlier before we started recording, I listened to your latest podcast today about the glue. And it made me think this whole Thrive Circle and Thrive Unleashed is the glue. So I'm not a self-unaware person. I've always been pretty self-aware. I've been journaling. I've tried multiple workshops, classes, counselors, all the things, right? Nothing really stuck. They come, they go, and I know there are things that oh, I should do this. Oh, I should do that. Well, this would be better if only I did this. And it got to a point where I needed something. And that's what we had our little talk and the back and forth and exchange of information. And I thought, I think this is what's missing. This is the glue to take all of those other pieces from all of the other things that I've done and tried and explored and start connecting the things that are the most important. And that's kind of where I feel in this journey, is that I've started to take those things from other places and from the work that we've done, and they're sticking. They're stickier.
So what is it in terms of that work that you think has helped create that stickiness?
I think a lot of it, because as well as perfectionism, I also really crave structure. Again, people who know me, not a surprise at all. So the structure that you kind of walked me through has been really helpful, because I can take all those stray bits of information and put them in kind of an organized path and see them and see where they fit, and also see what doesn't fit. The old proverbial jam the square peg in the round hole kind of thing, like a regular workout class. The occasional walk with a friend or yoga class is great. I don't need to, put a weekly bar class in there.
Okay. So I think I heard you say that the structure was helpful, and the creating, you didn't say this, but like a road map that helps filter what matters and what doesn't, right? To use to kind of create discernment.
And the group dynamic has been amazing. I mean, truly, the people that you bring together, it's a little bit like magic.
Well, you're a part of that magic, so thank you. It's something that I really pay attention to, and it's one of the reasons that Thrive Unleashed, the new 6-month group program that you're a part of, that starts in January, isn't for everybody, right? And I really want to make sure that the group everyone's different. Everyone's at a different place. Everyone's in different chapters of the novel of their lives, right? But there are some common desires and openness and willingness, and within that, then that we create the feeling of being safe and being able to hold yourself accountable, to the group, and be inspiring to others, right? And because there's so much, the old classroom teacher in me is like, it's not about what I say,
right.
It's, I can ask a question, you'll answer it, somebody else, it's like a domino effect. And that's why I love the group and this.
Same. And when everybody shares, I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
oh, that's something I want to think about like later,
Mhm. Yeah.
we'll write
Okay.
it down.
So what has surprised you on this journey, right? From Thrive Circle to moving towards Thrive Unleashed, right? What has surprised you?
Um, that I didn't do it sooner because now it seems so obvious what was kind of missing in my pursuit of all these things. Because again, I think the whole curiosity factor for me was, here I am, midlife woman. I kind of have a few little jobs that I all do at random times that make me kind of who I am professionally and somewhat personally. And what's next? My kids are older, almost grown. Um, what's next? I have the rest of my life ahead of me. And that really kind of got me thinking in those big picture thoughts. And then I started this. And it's really been able to kind of hone that in, and things that I thought this was all about career and professionalism for me, and what I wanted to do with my business and what I wanted to do with my work. And what I learned is that it's really all about me, Hillary, person, my core values, my truest self, and who I really am.
Yes, my work here is done. So
Mine, not so much.
well, oh, by the way, mine either, right? I mean, yes, but we talk about that often in terms of these are not one and done
Right.
experiences, practices, right? There's a reason that like gardens need continual tending, and
We're
that
all a work in progress.
right? And that gets to be the beauty and the frustration and the fun of all of it.
Right.
And I think years like 2020, but frankly, there's always something. I'm not taking away from the fact that 2020 was a beast for a lot of people, right? So yes. And yet there's always something that's going to challenge us. There's always something that's going to push us. And so I was talking with somebody earlier today who said, I kind of feel like I'm on an island, like the size of a yoga mat, and that life is like storming and swirling all around me, but I'm grounded. Like I can deal with it now. And I'm not sure I felt that way before. And I was like, oh, okay.
Right.
Right? But that to me is the point of this work, of being able to see that you can navigate those things.
Right. And you'll hear those snippets in my head, where it's sometimes your inner critic or your inner mean girl is now balanced with the, wait a minute, that's a story you tell yourself. Or that that's really a should and not something that you want to do.
Okay. So I've heard you mention a few of like the practices, right? Asking yourself some of these questions. Is there a practice in all of the explorations that you've done through this work this year that you think has been like the game changer for you?
Probably if I had to pick one, it would be fine-tuning my morning routine. Mm-hmm. Because again, structure, perfectionism, there's been a whole lot of talk in general about morning routines and how important they are. And everybody has a different one. So of course I was always looking for the perfect one and modeling it after other people. And I don't remember if it was one of your podcasts or if it was a session or what, but we started to talk about how it doesn't always have to be a big thing, because I'm a huge bed maker. I need to make the bed every morning. It's just makes me feel good, makes me feel accomplished. And you were like, that's a morning routine. That's, and I'm like, oh, I'm doing that. But in something so simple as making my bed every day, I was really easily able to add a 5-minute meditation every day. And I now do a 5-minute meditation 5 days a week, most weeks, not every week, but most weeks, Monday through Friday, because it's just part of the way that I've set things up. So just like taking my supplements, having my coffee, I do my meditation and make my bed.
Right. Isn't it amazing what we can create space for when we decide to
Yeah.
to do it, as
Yeah.
opposed to all the reasons that we can't? Because
Right.
I do that too.
Right. And
Yeah.
we had explored that in relationship to the whole working out thing too.
Mhm.
Because my block has always been, well, why aren't I making space for it? I know I can make space for things that are important to me. And I think you had me sit with it until I finally said, it's not important to me,
Right.
which was hard to admit.
Yeah, but so important.
Right.
Because if it's not important to you, it's never going to feel right. Which isn't to say there aren't things in the world that we should
Right.
do, even if they don't matter, right?
Right.
And yet, sitting with it long enough to say, how do I make this mine? What is it about this thing that is important to me? And can I access it in different ways?
Exactly. Like the walks with a friend as opposed to a bar class
Yeah.
by
Right.
myself.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. So, what might you say to somebody who is thinking, I don't know, maybe there's something on this journey for me to thriving, whether it's Thrive Unleashed or
Run, don't walk. Run, don't walk.
away or towards?
towards, go, do it.
Why? Why should they
Um,
run?
because you don't know what you don't know until you know it. And the little bit of exploration, the little push, you just might uncover the missing piece. As you said, the glue, right? We're so into all of these workshops and courses and masterminds, and everyone has and you take so many of them, but you still kind of need the glue that holds them all together. And that, I think, is the core values and truest self-work.
Run. I didn't say it, Hillary did. Run, don't walk, not away, towards.
Exactly.
So, is there a way for people to follow you, to get to know you a little bit?
I am H. Chybinski on almost every social media aspect. So you can search or find me or drop a little note in the comments and I'll hook you up where you can find me. My blog is hackscrap.com, HACSCRAP.com.
I've never heard you say the title out loud.
No, there's a story there.
Tell me. Because I don't know that I've ever, when I've read it, said it like that in my brain.
So I started blogging a million years ago. I think it was like 2005 because I was a scrapbooker and all of the cool scrapbookers had blogs. Donna Downey, Kathy Zilski, Ellie Edwards. And I was like, oh, well, I could have a blog. But then that played along with, well, do you use your real name? This was before everybody had their name.com. So what would it be? What would it be? Well, those are my initials, HAC, and scrap, because it was about scrapbooking and about memories. And then I did that. And then it was just a hobby blog. When I moved out of my whole auditor accounting career, about 10 years ago now, don't tell anybody, it's been that long. And I started to do social media and that kind of thing. And blogging was a thing, a business. I was like, I really should change the name of my blog. But by then you already had a footing and you don't necessarily want to change it. So needless to say, like everything else, I just procrastinated it and it has been what it is. And if you search my name, you can probably find me everywhere.
I love it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It was delightful. And I'm so just grateful that you shared your story with folks
Always.
to because it's always so individual, and it's been a delight to watch you peel back these layers of self-awareness and show
Well,
up as your truest self. So
it's
thank you for
just
that.
been fun too. It's just been a lot of fun in a year that's not a lot of fun in many ways. This has been a total bright spot. So, and I can't wait for 2021.
What are you looking forward to most with Thrive Unleashed?
Um, I don't know. I know, and Elena doesn't like that answer. Um,
I'll take it with that one.
but I think I'm most excited for what's next. Again, we had talked in one of our sessions about the path and the journey, and, how way back in the beginning, I was at the very beginning, and now I've done this truest self and core values work. So I'm kind of here. And I know where I want to be is here. So this kind of Thrive Unleashed now is this part, and it's unknown. And I'm excited about that because this part has been so awesome that this part has to be even more awesome.
All the pressure. All the pressure. I'll take it. Take it. Well, it is actually, I love the I don't know in reference to this particular question, because that to me is a willingness and openness to just explore and to be curious about it, right? Rather than having one of the things that I know happens with coaching, whether it's group or individual, is that people come into it with a set of expectations. This is what I want to work on, right? And what they quickly realize is that it probably isn't at all about those things. And yet but I want to work on this. Yeah. And we end up getting to it in a sideways way,
Right.
along with so many other things. And so it's this like ripple creator. And so I love that you don't know in this particular thing. Well done.
In it. I am in it to win it.
Or to thrive.
Exactly.
Thank you so, so much, Hillary. And
Yeah.
it was a delight. Thank you for sharing you.
Always, anytime.
All right.